sarcastically cruel of you.
I think it just would make you all better programmers if we had 100 labs.
Or we don't.
To the point where I bash you over the head. I
But
mean,
we-
we'll probably have 100 in total over the course of 4 years. But
Probably more than that.
probably more.
Maybe.
Would the project due Monday?
Yeah.
And the project is us making a map?
Yeah.
Not using a map?
Yes.
Sounds awesome.
It is awesome. It's amazing. All right. So now we're going to implement a stack and a queue with whatever data structure you desire that we've talked about so far. I forgot to put that in there. You may use code from a previous lab or STL as a vector or a list. All right, hold on. From the STL, you may only use vector and list, okay? And technically cout. But besides those three, don't use anything else, aka don't use stack or queue. But you may use the vector or list. Hey, look, we've kind of done this already. What's that? So stack, do a deep copy of the stack, deconstructor, get the length. Is it empty? Print it. I'm not going to test that. That's for you. Push returns the top element of the stack. Top removes the top element from, top returns the top element and returns a reference, aka that's what the STL list does, by the way. Pop removes the top element from the stack, and this will return if the two stacks contain the same elements in the same order. Now this part might get a little tricky for y'all because in C++ you have to use something for the STL. We haven't talked about this, but you need to use iterators. So you will need to go look up how to do list iterators because I don't have time to explain that to you right now. But you can go ahead and Google that. Is he okay? You gonna make it?
Yeah.
He's making fun of me.
Oh. All right. And then let's implement a queue. It's the same thing, except it uses the word queue instead of stack, and and queue is first in, first out, as opposed to last in, first out. All right. You okay? I can't tell if that was a death stare or you're laughing at me. I can't. All right. You may use vector string. Oh, you may use string and list from the STL. I recommend testgen. Hey, look, it's Valgrind due 1 week from today. Any questions about this one? Great. So we went over all of it except for how to do iterators. Go ahead, ask it. How do you do iterators?
Like the way we normally do iterators?
No,
No?
not at all.
Great.
Good. So now I'll show you how to do iterators in the STL. Did you do iterators in the OOP?
In what way?
You made iterators and you used it? All right. All right, so list iterator C++. All right. All right, you know what? Forget this. Let's just code it. Let's make another, what do we want to call it? Let's call it void print. Yeah, that happens all the time. And we'll call, I don't know, right here, stack.print. Perfect. Whoops. Okay. And let's make sure this is working properly. The best print statement of all time. There's here. Perfect. So it's working. Okay. All right. Whew. So let's see if I can remember this. Nope, I'm not going to. There it is. This is why I can never remember it. All right, that thing. Nope. All right, so this will equal the stack.begin. So the I iterator is going to be an iterator, and it's going to be a pointer. Or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. It's going to act as a pointer. It's not necessarily a pointer. It's going to implement the interface of a pointer and hopefully behave like a pointer. So you want it to start at the beginning. You want it to always be less than stack.end. Or actually, it's not less than, I'm sorry, does not equal stack.end. And then I++ increments the pointer.
So how come it can act as a pointer but not be a pointer?
Well, think about this. You're allowed to overload the ++ operator in C++, right? You can also overload the dereference pointer in C++. So you can overwrite all the operators that you use on a pointer. Therefore, you can implement a class that behaves just like a pointer, even though it's not. So we'll dereference the pointer, and then put a nice little comma. And then after all this, I'm not in C. \end. Let's see if I typed that all correctly. It worked. All right. So one last thing I want to point out is where my cursor is. It's, let's see, of the standard template library of the list object templated on an integer. You have the iterator class, and that's the type of I. Everyone got that? All right. I really don't like typing that. There we go. So if you can't remember, you can type in auto, and C++ will try and figure it out for you. Right now it's not too bad, but when you have templates inside of templates, it gets very confusing very quickly. So either one's fine. There we go. We talked about iterators. Any other questions? Comments? Screams? Groans? Nothing? All right. Well, we're done good. 10 minutes early. We talked about your ethics paper. Don't forget to write that at some point. And I guess I'll see you on Wednesday.